Hello everyone. So today we are going to deal with conditionals. So the focus will be mainly on the form and the use of each type of conditional sentences. So by the end of this course, you should be able to identify different types of conditional sentences and use them properly. So before we move to the form and the use of each type of conditional sentences, I'll give you a brief idea about conditional sentences in general. So conditional sentences are sentences which express that a given action can only take place if there is a given condition. Therefore, a conditional sentence should have two main parts, that is the condition or the F clause and the result, or what we call the main clause. Okay, and if we start by the if clause, then we need a comma after the F clause, and if we start by the main clause, that is by the result, we don't need a comma. So let's start with the conditional type 0. So we have F plus condition plus a result. So in conditional type 0, we use this form. So we have F plus simple present plus simple present. That is the condition in the simple present and the result in the simple present too. So for example, if it rains, the ground gets wet. So if plus it rains, which is conjugated in the simple present, the ground gets wet, which is the result, conjugated in the present too. Conditional type 0 is mainly used to talk about general truths or habits or real world, that is, or scientific fact. One point to remember about conditional type 0 is the fact that there is the condition always has the same result in conditional type 0. For example, if it rains, it's always the same result, that the ground gets wet. It's the same for all the examples. For example, if I cry, I have a headache. That is, I always have a headache when I cry. If you mix yellow and blue, you get green. So if you mix yellow and blue, you won't get any other colors instead of green. If you are tired, you go to bed early. That's your habit. So for example, whenever you are tired, you go to bed early. That is something which habitual. If you leave the object, it drops. So imagine that you are, for example, handing an object in your hand and you leave it. So of course it drops. You pour oil on water, it floats. So it is a fact. If you smoke, you get old early. So all these conditions, as you can see, have the same, always have the same result. So you cannot imagine another results for a given condition of these we have seen. Conditional type 1 or first conditional. So the structure we have F plus simple present plus simple future. That is, we have the condition in the simple present and the result in the simple future. Conditional type 1 is mainly used to talk about possibilities in the present or in the future. Is if there is a given condition, something is possible to happen. For example, if it rains, I will stay at home. That is, if it rains, it's possible that I will stay at home. If I wake up late, I'll miss the bus. It means that it's possible that I miss the bus in condition that I wake up late. Same for if it is sunny, we will go to the park. If Juan leaves, Paula will be sad. If I find your email, I will send you the picture. If you study hard, you will pass your exams. So it is possible that you will pass your exams if you study hard. That we have if plus you study conjugated in the simple present and will pass, which is the in the simple future. Conditional type 2 or second conditional. So the structure we have F plus past simple plus present conditional. That is, in the condition we use the simple past, and in the result we use the present conditional. That is word plus the bare form of the verb, or the infinitive form without to. So the conditional type 2 is mainly used to talk about situations which are imaginary, either in the present or in the future, which means that they are just hypothetical or unreal. So as opposed to the zero condition and the first conditional, they are real conditionals. And for the second conditional is unreal, that is imaginary. So for example, if I won $1 million, I would buy a new car. I imagine the idea of winning $1 million, then I imagine another result. So, for example, if I won $1 million, I would buy a new car. That's we are conjugating the verb to win in the simple past, and the result by in the present conditional. That is would plus by. And if I were you, I would quit smoking. So again, I just imagine if I'm not you, okay? So I imagine if I am the person you are, I would quit smoking. So if I were you, as you can see here, we are using I were, not I was. So with the conditional, we use the verb to be with were. If I were you, I would quit smoking. Again, if I were the president, I would lower taxes. I'm not the president, so I imagine the idea that I am a president. Okay, they would stay longer if they had more time. So they don't have more time, so they don't stay. So they would stay longer if they had more time. As you can see here, we started by the main clause, so we are not using a comma, as opposed to the rest of the examples in which we are starting with the if clause and a comma is inserted. And we have other examples. If I won $1 million, I could stop working. If I had more free time, I could travel around the world. So these are all express the same idea that we imagine something in the present and use it in the conditional form. Another unreal conditional, which is conditional type 3. So the structure, we have if plus past perfect plus perfect conditional. That is would plus have plus the past participle of the verb. So this type is mainly used to talk about imaginary situations in the past. That is, situations which have already happened that we can no longer change. So, for example, if I had got a medal, if I had got a gold medal, I would have been happy. So I didn't get a gold medal, and I wasn't happy, and I imagine the opposite. That is, we use the past perfect. We have in the condition had got, and conditional perfect, which is would have been. Another example, if I had met Susan last week, I would have given her the book. So I didn't meet Susan last week, and I didn't give her the book. So I imagine again the opposite of the condition and the opposite of the result. So if I had met Susan last week, I would have given her the book. If the weather had been good, we would have gone water skiing. Okay, so the same. The other example, if you had got up earlier, you would have caught the earlier train. So all these situations are imaginary in the past. That is, they already happened. So we can no longer change them. The last type of conditionals is the mixed conditional, and we have two different types of mixed conditionals. We have the third second conditional and second third conditional. So for the third second conditional, so we use the structure if plus past perfect plus present conditional. That is, we have present results of a past condition. That is, something is happening now because of a given condition in the past. So, for example, if I had listened to your advice, I wouldn't be in the mess. So, because I didn't listen to your advice, I am in a mess. That is a condition in the past, the fact that I didn't listen to your advice, and a present result, which is I am in a mess. The other example, if he had checked the map, he wouldn't be lost. So he is lost now because he didn't check the map. So again, a past condition and a present result. And if I had gone to university, I would I would be a doctor now. So I'm not a doctor now because I didn't go to university. Again, the same structure, if plus had plus past participle of the verb, that is the past perfect, and word plus be, that is we take part of the conditional type tree, that is the condition from the conditional type tree and the result from the conditional type 1 type 2, sorry. That is, we mix two different conditionals in the same sentence. That is, we have for example the condition from the third type of conditionals and the results from the conditional type 2. The second type of mixed conditional is the second third conditional, that is the opposite of the previous one. That is, we have the condition from the present, that is imaginary in the present. That is, we take the condition from the conditional type 2 and the result from the conditional type 3. So the structure is if plus past simple plus perfect conditional. That is a past result of a present continuing condition. For example, if I were a good cook, I would have invited them to dinner. So I am not a good cook, that is, which is an imaginary situation in the present. I am a condition still happening in the present. And I would have invited you, something which have already happened, that is, the result was in the past. So I didn't invite you or didn't invite them because I'm not a good cook. If you weren't such a poor dancer, you would have got a job in the chorus line in that music. So again, so we have the condition, which is imaginary in the present, and the result, which was in the past. That is something which didn't happen in the past. That's, we are mixing two types of conditionals. Again, we have the condition from the second type and the result from the third conditional. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Oh, thanks for watching and see you soon.